Hey everyone, this is Gunjan. I'm a mom to a 2-year-old, a content creator, a recipe curator, and I'm also a certified positive parenting coach. Welcome to my YouTube channel where we talk about motherhood, my experiences through motherhood, my learnings, my unlearnings, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. This is a safe, judgment free space, so do hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I also have an Instagram Tickle Tales where I share a lot of baby friendly recipes and you get an insight into my day to day motherhood journey. So do check that out as well. Toddler life is tough, not just for parents, but also for toddlers. But I genuinely think that there are a few things that I do with Kian that make both his and my life easier. So I thought I'll talk about that today. Here are 5 hacks that every toddler parent must know. I might add a bonus one in the end so you don't want to miss it. Number one, have a routine. Toddlers thrive on routine, not just toddlers, even babies. I think if they know what's coming next, they are much less anxious. Their tantrums reduce, their entire day is in place, and both them and us know what to expect next. In general, I feel kids don't like change, kids don't like surprises. So if they know what is happening next in their day, it really helps. That's why even preparing your toddler before any big event or any big change helps a lot because they know what's coming, right? Similarly, in their day to day activities, if there is a fixed routine of what happens after what, I think it helps tremendously. So, toddler brain is not developed yet to understand the concept of time. That is why the sequence of event is what matters. If you tell them 2 p.m. is lunch and then 3 p.m. we'll do activity and then 4 p.m. we'll go to the park, they won't understand that because they're like, what is 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m.? It's the same for them. But if consistently every day they're having lunch after nap and then after lunch they're doing some activity and then after an activity they're going to the park, they get into that habit, that schedule, and there are a lot less tantrums in doing things that they don't want to do. For example, I had a really hard time when we started brushing for Kian. He did not like it at all, and I think a lot of kids don't like it. But the moment I made it a part of his routine for a week when we consistently brushed at the same time every day, twice a day, it kind of became a part of his day to day activities. And he knew that right after breakfast, we'll go into the washroom, we'll wash our hands, and we'll brush. Right after dinner, we'll go to the washroom, we'll wash our hands, and we'll brush. So it became a lot easier. There are a lot less battles, there are a lot less fights over brushing or not brushing because not brushing is not an option, it's non negotiable, right? But keeping it a part of the routine has really reduced tantrums. Having a consistent routine for your toddler every day helps a lot, and it also helps you because the tantrums reduce automatically. Number two, humor is a really powerful tool, man. If there is one thing that I do when Kian is giving me a hard time about anything. So there was a phase where he didn't want to change his diaper or he didn't want to change his clothes. Just like that, no reason. I would just make it funny. I would start making silly faces. I would start acting funny. I would start singing songs, making up songs about diaper changing, making up songs about clothes changing. And he would laugh at it and we would laugh together and it would just become easier. Humor is a very good way of turning a difficult situation into an easygoing one. Even with brushing for that matter, right? What I would do is I would make faces. I would tell him that, oh, you know what, we're fighting germs and we're brushing. Like I would just make the entire experience fun for him. I would think about it from his perspective and not ki, oh, we have to brush because it is a thing that you have to do, otherwise your teeth will go bad. And I'm not giving him all that. I'm just making it a fun experience for him. I tell him that, oh, you know what, when you brush, whatever you've eaten comes out of your teeth and you can actually see it in the sink. Now every day when we brush, we would like count all the things that we've eaten so far and we're like, oh, okay, chila will come in your brush, oh, okay, chutney will come in your brush. So that kind of just made the entire experience fun. I was just being funny one day and then it became like a thing we do which makes brushing easier. So in general, I feel just being very chill and very funny with your child in general helps. Like, I don't know if this is making sense to you. Maybe a lot of you do it already, maybe you don't. But the reason I'm sharing this is because I was talking to a friend the other day, and when I told them this, they were pretty taken aback. They were like, oh my god, I can't believe this works. Like, this is so stupid. But it works. It works with the toddler. So I thought I'll share it with you guys as well. Number three. Now, you might have heard some variation of this before. Ask more, instruct less. Toddlers have a hard time with words. They have a hard time forming sentences. They're still learning how to do it. They have a hard time saying a lot of words correctly because they're still learning how to do it. And a lot of times there's a lot of miscommunication that happens between us parents and toddlers because of this language barrier in a way. And a lot of times we interpret something as completely different as what they actually mean. Like, for example, Kian often says things as just by the way, but it sounds like he's asking for it or he's questioning about it. So, for example, if we're having lunch and he's eaten, let's say, a cookie that he really likes for snack, while having lunch, he'll generally randomly just say, "Oh, cookie." Now that sounds like a question, like sounds like he's asking for the cookie. Earlier, what I used to do is I'd be like, "Oh no, you can't have a cookie right now. You know, you're having lunch. This is not the time for cookie. This is the time for snack." Yada yada yada. But I realized later that he's not actually asking for a cookie. He's just telling me that he had cookie for a snack. It sounds like he's asking for a cookie. Now, whenever he says something like this, I just be like, "Oh yes, we did that. We did have a cookie. Did you like it?" And then we'll just have a conversation about cookie. He really didn't want to eat it at that point. It was just that he wanted to have a conversation about it because he remembered that he had a cookie. And how I found that out was because I one day asked him myself that, "Oh, are you trying to remember the time that we had cookie or do you want a cookie?" And he said, "No, snack, maybe had cookie. I'm talking about that." I was like, "Oh, had I asked this before, I would have known it before and I wouldn't be randomly yapping around saying no to him during lunch, right?" So, yeah, like in general, I've made this a rule that whenever he says something which I feel is not okay or something that I don't want him to do, I'll ask more questions about it. I'll ask what he actually means by it before jumping to a conclusion and before just giving him like a ruling at the end of it. Number four. Now, this is like a real hack. Okay, like I swear, I've not read this anywhere, I've not heard of it. I just started doing it and it worked, and I'm sharing it with you. The word okay is very powerful with toddlers. What I mean by that, half the time kids are just saying things for no reason. Okay, there's no reason for it. They're just trying to test you, they're just trying to challenge your boundaries. I'll give you an example. Okay, it's evening, not dinner time yet, and Kian comes up to me and asks me, "What's for dinner?" I tell him that we have dal, rice, and sabzi. He'll be like, "No dal, no rice, no sabzi." Now I have two options. One, I can have an argument with him at that time. I can be like, "No, that's not how it works. You have to have rice, you have to have dal. That's what's been made. That's how it is going to be." Or I can just be like, "Okay, that's it." I say, "Okay." He feels heard and he leaves. Then it's dinner time. We sit, we have the dal, rice, sabzi because that's what's been made and that's what we eat. I avoided a whole tantrum. I avoided a whole conflict just by saying okay. Now, mind you, I'm not saying okay as in I agree with you, okay, and then later going back on my word. What this okay sounds like is very, very okay, I hear you. Okay, cool. This is what you want. I'm not saying okay, you will get this. I'm saying okay, I hear this is what you want. There's a difference. There's a difference in my tone. And sometimes I even extend this that okay, I understand this is what you want. I never say, okay, you will get this, because that's like completely different, right? That's like you're agreeing with the child and you'll give them what they want. No. Okay just avoids conflicts and they feel heard. I mean, I don't know, like this has been working wonderfully for me to avoid a lot of tantrums for things that are going to happen at a later period of time. Now, whether you try out the other things or not, but please do try this one out and tell me in the comments if it works for you. I really want to know if this works for more children or not. I think it's pretty cool. One word and it solves a lot of tantrums. Number five, pick your battles. Very important. Now, I have a very clear funda in my mind that I won't say no to Kian unless it's very, very necessary. Of course, if he's doing something that can hurt him or someone else, or if he's breaking a rule which is like a non negotiable in the house, then of course I will say no to him and we'll deal with what happens next. But if there are certain things that I'm okay with him doing, might make a mess, might increase my work a little bit, but it's not that big a deal. It won't have like a big impact on him. I'll be like, okay, you can do it. So if I've set up one activity for him and he doesn't want to do it and he wants to do something completely different, I'll be like, okay, fine, let's do that. No problem. It's not like I've set this up so you have to do this. It's perfectly fine. We'll do what you want to do. This way, I feel that children feel like they are in control at a lot of times. So whenever you actually say no to them for things that matter, it has a bigger impact on them and your words matter more. If you keep on saying no, 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 no for everything throughout the day, then your no has no value left to it. So I have this very strict rule that for myself, that I will pick my battles, and I do falter on it sometimes because I am a bit of a control freak when it comes to mess. Like I have a hard time dealing with mess. And there are a lot of days where I just sort of keep saying no to him for small small things because it's triggering me. But then the moment I realize it, I kind of stop. I take a deep breath. I maybe take a break for a few minutes, and then I come back and I'm like, okay, no, it's fine, it's just mess, we'll clean it up, we have all the cleaning supplies, no problem. But I need to limit my no's that I'm saying to him. I've seen that the day I'm saying a lot of no's to him throughout, like in the morning, afternoon, evenings are very tough. Whereas on days where it's balanced and we've had yeses along with no's, it's easier. Now, the bonus point. Okay, this is something I've recently started doing with Kian. Don't give them the opportunity to say no to you. Typical 2-year-old behavior is that they love to say the word no, but they hate to hear the word no. So I try to frame my sentences in a way where Kian doesn't have to answer in a yes or no way. So instead of saying, do you want to have dinner? I say, do you want to have dinner in the big plate or do you want to have dinner in your car plate? So he is like, okay, we're having dinner, but I get a choice of the plate that we're having it in. Or if it's time for bed, I don't say, okay, do you want to sleep now or let's go sleep now, because that sounds like an instruction, like a threat to them. I say, do you want me to pick you up and take you to the room or do you want to walk there? So he knows we have to go into the room, but he gets to choose how to go in the room. Basically, the more you ask them questions in this options way, the less opportunity they have to tell you no. Because if they say no about something, then that can potentially lead to a meltdown situation. If Kian is having a hard time coming back from the park, I ask him, do you want to walk back home or do you want to sit on your cycle and I'll push you? So he has to come back, but he can choose how he wants to come back. That was sort of it. I think the last one is something that I'm still experimenting with Kian. I've recently started it. It's working well so far, but yeah, let's see how it works in the long run. Maybe he figures it out. Who knows? So yeah, I did fail this one time. A couple of days back, he was having like this meltdown before dinner where he did not want to eat what was made. Okay, and I think he was just too hungry at that point, and he was just saying no, 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 no to everything. Anything I put in front of him, he was like no, 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 no. So he was just like really hungry, and he was not able to calm himself down. Now at that point, I was trying my level best to make him sit in the high chair because I knew if he would sit and eat just 2 bites, he would feel better and the meltdown would be over. But he was not sitting. So basically, this is our dining table. There are 3 chairs there, 2 adult normal dining table chairs, and 1 high chair, which is for Kian. So I asked him, hey, do you want to sit on your high chair or do you want to sit on this adult chair? He said that chair. I mean, that was an acceptable option. I made him sit on that chair. But basically, he did not really pick the option that I gave him. He went with the third one. So he might start doing this more as he's growing older. But as long as even that third option is acceptable to me, I'm okay with it. If it's not acceptable, then I'll probably give him more options. So I don't know if this was a fail or if this was just normal. I don't know. Still learning. But yeah, I thought I'll share this incident with you as well. So yeah, that was it for today's video. If you have more hacks that you have tried with your toddler and have worked, comment them below and let's discuss. Do like, share, comment, all of that good stuff, and subscribe to my channel for more such videos. I share a new video every Tuesday. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.